First, I would like to say that I really like the idea of doing an online learning activity using a Shakespeare play. I think that's going to be really fun for the kids, and Romeo and Juliet falls in line with ninth grade English. Um, so I think this is going to be really cool. All right, looking at your Weebly site, I like the picture that you have in the background and then the picture of the globe up front. I think that really captures the attention, and right away, without reading anything else, I know exactly what this unit's going to be about. So good job with setting up your Weebly site and getting the participant eager for more and getting involved into the unit. Go down to the learning outcomes. And again, I really like that this is all on the same page and that it's just scrolling down and I can see right away what's going on. You list all of the goals that you have for the students by the time they reach the end of this unit. A personal note, I never use SWABAT. It's like the biggest pet peeve for me, but I understand a lot of schools require you to do that. I just list my learning outcomes as goals, and I find that the kids, I don't know that they care so much, but it seems like they prefer writing down what their goals for the day are or what their goals for the unit are. Um, anyway, that's just a personal side note. Has nothing to do with how you've done this. I think it makes sense. It's written in really clean language that students can understand, and they're not going to be searching through all this verbiage trying to figure out what exactly they need to be doing. And I also like that you mention how they're going to edit their recordings using a specific software so that they don't have to try to find the software to use. So that's really good. Your expectations for participation and performance, I think they're fantastic. They make sense, and they're exactly what you would want students to do to gain the most out of this unit. So um, I like that you included that they're going to have to access the internet and that they're going to use school devices for the assignment um, and have a basic knowledge of internet language and have skills and whatnot. That's something that I think we sometimes forget to list, that we expect students to come to us with this knowledge, and and it's important to state. So good job doing that. To review your course technology, um, you needed to have 6 different course technology examples that you were going to implement into your unit, and you guys have 8. So I think you well exceeded that. I can tell that your main learning platform is going to be Edmodo. I think that's a really smart choice. It works a lot like Facebook, so students should have no problem navigating it. And then it's a great place to meet for everyone to see what the topics are and what the upcoming assignments are. I wouldn't have thought about this on my own, so I'm totally using someone else's thought on sharing the code for Edmodo publicly on your website. Um, I think you might want to consider not doing that because people could get a hold of it that aren't in the class. So that might be something that you want to actually give the students privately during class time. I like using Twitter and TweetDeck. I think that the hashtags that you've provided the students to use as they go through the unit are going to help them keep track of what everyone's doing in their group and within the class. And I think TweetDeck is just a great way to organize things. For me personally, TweetDeck is kind of what got me from feeling so overwhelmed with Twitter when I first joined Twitter. I just I felt like I couldn't really keep up with everything. And then once I made a TweetDeck and I was able to just follow a few hashtags or whatever and see what was going on, started making more sense and I got more comfortable with it. So maybe that'll help some of your students that might be a little overwhelmed with the idea of using Twitter to begin with. Um, the rest of them look great. I mean, Flickr, Diigo, YouTube, they all serve their purposes, and you've shared what you're going to use them for. And I really like Pinterest for a curation site, mainly because I feel like everyone has a Pinterest account, or almost everyone has a Pinterest account, and it's super user friendly. And the Google Chrome and Firefox have Pinterest um, add-ons that make it really easy to pin any website that you're on. So I think that's a really smart move for you guys. Great job setting up all the different accounts, providing the links for how to set up the account for the student, and describing how you're going to use them. I think it's awesome. And okay, so in this topic, I'm going to talk about your groups and how you've designed your groups and how you're going to monitor their interaction with each other and whatnot. And first of all, I found in Activity 1 that you want students to get in groups of 3 and work together to complete all of the activities. So I'm assuming that this group is going to be the group that they'll be in for the entire unit. But I don't see how they're supposed to form that, just that they have to form it. So I don't know if they get to choose their friends or if you have a system in place on how groups are made in class or whatnot, but the only thing I can find is that you will be required to work in a group of 3. And then if you go back to the home page, you can see that the groups will be communicating mostly using a Google Doc with each other and Google Plus, and that's how they'll be talking back and forth and working on the different units. And then they can also use Pinterest and Flickr and whatnot to work as a larger group and work maybe with the class, I'm guessing, and maybe Diigo is a class thing. Anyway, the only thing I would clear up in this aspect is exactly how the groups are going to be formed, and then how you're going to keep track of who's doing what within the group. I know that you have the blog set up for the kids to use for reflection on group participation, how they think everyone did on the different activities and whatnot. So I think that's really, really good for them to have that opportunity. Anyway, good job. Okay, in regards to course monitoring, I can see that Edmodo is going to be probably the place where you most monitor what the students and the groups are doing, because that's where all of their assignments are going to be turned in. And I can see that Twitter and TweetDeck, you have the students following the @BardTwists _T. And then you also have them using the hashtag #BardTwists. I think this is really good. This will help you keep track of what's being posted using that hashtag. My only recommendation would be to have students add a number or a letter or something to the end to distinguish between the different groups, so that you know if one group is participating more than others, or most likely that there will be a group or two that's hardly participating at all. And you'll be able to keep track of that really quickly without doing a lot of investigating and not having to compare screen names to which groups they're in and whatnot. So I really think that you need to consider having different hashtags for the different groups. Um, and then I like that in this course monitoring, you've included how the administrators are going to access the different accounts and what the group names will be for each one and whatnot. So I think the monitoring is going to go fine. Um, Hopefully you do anticipate all students referring back to the Edmodo site and doing all of their submissions in there so that it'll be easier to keep track of for the administrators. Anyway, nice job with the course monitoring setup. So the first thing I notice about all of your activities is that they center around Act 2, Scene 2 of Romeo and Juliet, which is probably the most famous scene in the play. I think everyone knows parts of that, whether they've read or seen Romeo and Juliet or not, right? I mean, we all know, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? So I understand why you would choose that. I think you do a great job explaining the 3 different activities that you want the students to do. I like that with activity 2, you include a rubric and you include a timeline of what you expect the students to accomplish and when you expect them to accomplish it and how they're going to be graded on everything. So I think that's really good. My only concern with the assignments is that there's a lot of anticipation that these kids are very, very technology savvy. And maybe they are. I don't know what school you plan on having this unit completed at. So if it's a school where kids have been exposed to this kind of technology throughout their entire education career, then maybe they are prepared to use 7 different social media sites and 2 different collaborative tools for assignment 1. And then you jump to assignment 2 or activity 2. Excuse me, not assignment 2. Activity 2. And again, there's just a lot um, that you're anticipating kids will be able to do. However, with that being said, I think activity 2 sounds extremely interesting with having the kids contact an actual Shakespearean theater group. I just think that was, whoever had that idea was really, really thinking outside the box. And I really, really like it. Um, but my biggest concern for the activities is the recording of the play, where they have to actually use software that um, edits what they've recorded. And I don't know, maybe there's been some training with this and maybe the kids come into the class already knowing this. I don't know. I'm just saying that for me personally, it seems like a lot. And I'm really concerned that the expectation for students using this type of technology is going, I'm afraid the kids won't be able to rise to the occasion. That being said, this these activities couldn't be more interesting if they tried to be. I would love to be taking this class as a 9th grader and doing all of this stuff. I think I would have enjoyed Romeo and Juliet a lot more, and it would have become a lot more real for me. So your ability to take something that most English teachers dread and transform it into this unit that kids really should get excited about and really, really should have fond memories of after it's over. Just incredible. Just incredible. And then finally, you have your blog for self-reflection. And I think that's a good idea to have the blog there and for them to keep track of, how they're feeling throughout the unit and how they feel the group did in general and whatnot. So just a really good job with this. Like I said, my only concerns are the amount of technology and the level of the technological skills. But other than that, everything is fantastic. So nice job.